Oke. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kurang jelas, kurang keras. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon student. Today is the second session of the seminar. Oke, teman-teman yang di belakang, Miss Retno, Miss Yanti mungkin bisa dibantu. Teman-teman mahasiswa yang duduk di belakang, silakan maju ke depan. Yang paling belakang, teman-teman silakan maju ke depan supaya yang depan tidak kosong. Ayo, silakan. Teman-teman yang ada di belakang, maju ke depan supaya yang bangku yang ada di depan ini tidak kosong. Yang sebelah sana juga. Ayo, silakan. Halo, guys. Yang paling belakang. Kursi yang paling belakang dikosongkan, maju ke depan. Bangku atau kursi di depan masih kosong. Right. Hari ini agenda kita adalah seminar TOEFL tips and tricks, ya, and will be delivered by Mrs. Tiana Enamoroti. Okay guys, halo, ya, BSI, oi, Kuliah. Oke. Nanti pada saat pemaparan dari Mrs. Tiana, please highly pay attention to the speakers, ya, to our native speakers. Ya, teman-teman yang duduknya di belakang silakan maju ke depan. Supaya nanti kelihatan slide-nya dari Mrs. Tiana. Ayo, silakan. Oke, baik. Kita mulai acara pada hari ini. And please welcome Mrs. Tiana as our guest native speaker. Please give applause for Mrs. Tiana.
Selamat siang. Halo. Hi. Okay, thank you. Thank you all very much for coming today. Thank you to Universitas BSI. Thank you very much for inviting me. Today I'm going to Terima kasih. Today, I'm going to give you an overview of the TOEFL ITP test, or it is based on the paper-based TOEFL test, which you are all going to take next week and possibly the end of the month as well, yeah? So it's coming up. Okay. All right, I'm going to give you an overview of what to expect on your test, and we'll go through each of the sections. If you have questions, you can ask me. Yeah, shall we get started? All right, next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right, thank you. Okay, so a quick overview of the TOEFL ITP test. Has anyone here taken any version of the TOEFL before? Hands up, have you taken the TOEFL before? IELTS? No? No one? Okay. All right, very quickly, I want to introduce you to what you should expect to see on the test. The TOEFL ITP. ITP stands for Institutional Testing Program. This is a result for you to use locally in Indonesia. When you take your test, bisa dengar saya ya? Nggak apa-apa. Kalau saya pakai bahasa Inggris, nggak apa-apa. Kalau terlalu cepat, bilang aja ya. Ya? Okay. All right. This is a test that you're going to take at the end of your degree to be used locally. So if you are planning on going into fields like PNS, BUMN, if you're looking to get a scholarship, a local scholarship like the LDPD, this is the kind of score you will be asked to show. Also, if you are going to go from BSI into the workforce, sometimes employers like to see a TOEFL score on your CV. It might help if you work for an international company, an IT company. They often would ask to see it. So this is a score that can help you later on, depending on what you want to do. If you plan to go abroad, this is not the score they will use. They will use the TOEFL IBT score, which is a different test. This one is just to be used locally, so you know the difference. Next slide, please. What this test, your ITP test will include is 3 sections. I know you have already gone over this with Ibu Yati, some of you, but I'm just going to refresh your memories. You will be tested on listening, structure and written expression, and reading. Okay. Listening is divided into 3 parts. They can seem intimidating. Try not to feel intimidated. The more confident you feel going into this, the better you will score. Okay? The listening, it will be divided into short conversations, meaning one speaker, 2 speaker, that's it. So just 1, 2, done. That's the first part. That's part A. Part B, you will have a longer conversation. There's more back and forth. Speaker A, speaker B, speaker A again, speaker B again, speaker A again, speaker B again. It will look more like that. The last one, part C, is a lecture. Like what you're hearing today, one person speaking for a long time. So if you can keep up with me today, you'll be fine in part C, okay? Parts A and B can be a little bit tricky. Now, after that, you also have a structure and written expression section. So the structure part, everybody hates. But you have to just be patient and read through carefully. These are on tata bahasa, okay? This is on grammatical structure. What you need to do in the structure part is complete the sentence. I'll show you some examples so you know what to expect. The second part, for written expression, you are error correcting. Maksudnya, you are looking for the mistake. You're not looking for the correct answer. You're looking for the mistake in the question. Yang mana salah? That's the one you want to pick. Okay? All right. The very last section is reading. You should get about 5-ish passages. They will be formal academic English, and you will have about 8 to 12 questions after each passage. I will show you some of what to expect in the reading. Okay? We all good so far? Everything okay? Okay. All right, next slide, please. Okay, here's a breakdown for your time. It says a lot, actually. If you look at the number of questions versus the minutes, then you know how tricky this is, because there are a lot more questions than there are minutes. You're listening. You'll have 50 questions. You've got 35 minutes to do it. Okay? That means you need to work fast. Not rush. Don't hurry. But don't spend too long on each question. You want to finish, okay? So if you get a question you're not sure about, don't panic and think, and the clock just ticks and ticks and ticks, yeah? Try not to do that. Try to answer as fast as you can, move on. And if you have to guess, it's okay to guess, okay? Now, for the structure and written expression, you've got 40 questions, 25 minutes. And the reading, you've got 50 questions and 55 minutes. So you need to move. You need to act fast, okay? Next slide, please. Okay. Very quickly, I will show you what to expect from each section. For listening comprehension, thank you. Listening comprehension, part A. Part A, you get speaker 1, speaker 2, narrator. That's it. So, speaker 1, speaker 2, and then question. And then you need to fill it in. All of these are multiple choice. Okay? What you need to do is to listen particularly well for the second speaker, speaker 2. Sometimes it's a man's voice, sometimes a woman's voice. The main thing is to listen to their response. The question will probably relate to their responses, okay? What you need to try to do is imagine, where would this conversation be taking place? Who are these people? Are they students? Are they teachers? Are they doctors? What is the situation? What is the context? If you can think of that, that will help you with your response. So, thinking about the context, focusing on the second speaker, and also being familiar with the questions as they come up. So, if you can, the ideal thing to do is, while you're listening to the instructions, read question 1, read A, B, C, D first. If you can read the answers, the possible answers, you have a better idea, what is the topic? Who are these people going to be? What are they going to ask me? So if you can look at the answers first, you can guess, you can anticipate what the conversation might be like. If you can anticipate the question, you have a better chance at scoring well, okay? Which means you need to read your options, answer, and then immediately move to the next question. Read ahead. What are these questions about? What are these options? Are they asking about the situation? Are they asking about how a person feels? So read ahead before you hear the conversation, so you know what to listen for, you know what to look out for. Okay, next slide, please. Here's an example. All right. In the recording, for part A, it looks like this. You hear a woman's voice first, and she says, "Why is Barbara feeling so happy?" And then the man says, "She just started working in a real estate agency." And then you get the narrator who says, "What does the man say about Barbara?" Okay? Now, what you see in your booklet are these options. A, she always liked her work in real estate. B, she began a new job. C, she bought some real estate. D, she bought a real estate agency. Based on the dialogue, what do we know? Which one? A, B, C, or D? B, very good. What we know is B. I'm so glad you got it right. Okay, next slide, please. Sorry, next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, now, why do we know it's B? We know it's B because, well, firstly, we don't have the information for A. We don't have that information. We don't know if she always liked to work in real estate. That's not what they're asking. We also don't know for C that she bought real estate. I didn't hear the word buy or purchase anywhere in the dialogue. So you know it can't be C or D. We didn't hear that. All we heard is she started her new job, which means they're using a synonym, started and began. So knowing synonyms, anticipating words that are similar is a great way to approach the questions for part A. They might change the word, but the meaning is the same. So be aware that might be something that could come up. Okay, next slide, please. All right, here's another example. You might hear in part A, "I don't like this painting very much." And then the man says, "Neither do I." And then the narrator says, "What does the man mean?" And you're given these options. A, he doesn't like the painting either. B, he doesn't know how to paint. C, he doesn't have any paintings. And D, he doesn't know what to do. Now, if you look at the verbs in the question, in the dialogue, if you think about what you heard, if you didn't hear anything about knowing how to paint, if you didn't hear anything about having paintings, owning paintings, then you know straight away it can't be most of these other ones. So again, thinking about what information you actually heard and not making assumptions is a really good way to approach it. What do you think then, guys? Which one's correct? Yay! Thank you. All right, next slide, please. Yeah. This is a vocabulary question. We use neither when we are agreeing in the negative. I don't like this painting, neither do I. So he doesn't like the painting either. We're making a negative pairing. So that was just a vocabulary question. Okay? Now, for the listening practice, for part A, there is a ton of practice you can do online. There's free stuff on YouTube. There's tons of practice to listen to these very short dialogues and get into the habit of guessing which one is correct. So my main tips for this was, number one, do not assume. Don't assume more information than you hear. Go only on what you hear and consider other variations of words. Started, began, things like that. So looking at different synonyms will help you respond better. Okay, next slide, please. All right, for part B, listening comprehension part B, same as part A, only it's a longer dialogue, more back and forth, okay? Same concept. You need to try to understand the theme, the context, the location. Are they teachers? Are they doctors? Are they businessmen and women? Are they students? Is this a conversation between family members? Try to get the context of what you're listening to, and that will help you respond. Again, when you are taking the test, read ahead, answer, and then read the next group of options for the next question. If you can read ahead, you'll have a better sense of what to listen for. Okay? Okay, next slide, please. All right, so similar to part A, you might hear a man and a woman's voice talking. Very quickly, we'll just go through this. You'll hear the man say, for example, I can't believe we have to read this entire book by Monday, right? He's complaining about this. And then the woman responds, some teachers think we have nothing else to do besides prepare for their class. So she's joining him in complaining. So she's not happy about this either. The man says, well, my boss thinks the same thing about my job, but it's the only thing I have to do. And the woman says, oh, I didn't think you were working. What do you do? Okay, so from here, we've already heard they are students, they have jobs, they must be adult students, so they must be university students. They're having a conversation, and they're complaining about how much work they have to do. Okay? The man responds, I do bookkeeping work for a small company on Saturdays. This weekend I have to prepare end of the quarter reports to give to the accountant on Monday. And then the woman says, well, you'd better start reading soon. Okay, the narrator then asks you, what does the man imply about the assignment? All right, the assignment, we know that is about being a student. That's his student part. That's not the job. He's not talking about the end of year reports. It's talking about the first part of the conversation where he's complaining about the book assignment. So, you have the choices. It's too much to read in such a short time. He has already read the material. He can read at work, or the teacher knows that he has a job. What do you think might be the correct answer here? Yes, I heard someone say it. Next slide, please. Yes, the correct answer is A. It's too much to read in a short time. He used the phrase, I can't believe I have to read all of this by Monday. Okay? So, can't believe is an expression of disbelief, of shock. He's shocked by this. So, listening out for phrases, idiomatic phrases though they are, expressions though they are, listening out for them can help you know what to respond to in the test. Okay, next slide, please. All right, the last section of your listening is basically what you are doing now. You are listening to one speaker speak for a long time. If you are keeping up with me now, you're probably going to be just fine on this one, okay? When you listen to a long talk, it can be scary. It's a lot of information all at once. Don't worry about it. If you focus on listening to the main words that you hear being said. So we're talking about nouns, verbs. Can you get a sense of where this talk is taking place? Who is speaking? What is the topic? General terms. Is it a university lecture? Is it an office meeting? Is it a job description? What are you actually listening to? So if you can think of the context, you'll be better prepared to respond to the questions. In your head, try and figure out where it is, who is speaking, who would they be speaking to. If you couldn't see me, but all you could do is hear me, you could probably tell, oh, she's a teacher, she's speaking to students, just by the way I'm speaking. So that's one thing to consider. Also, again, very important, read ahead. Look at your choices, A, B, C, D. Look at them first. Okay? Look at them before you start listening so that you can anticipate. What am I listening for? Am I listening for a specific topic? Am I listening for a kind of emotional response? Am I listening for lots of synonyms? So have a listen, have a read through the questions so that you can anticipate what to listen for. Okay, next slide, please. All right. Okay. Here's an example for part C. I'm going to read you your options first. Here are your options. A, an office renovation. B, building construction. C, marketing campaign. D, new carpeting. Those are your options, okay? If you read those first. Now I'm going to read you the listening, and you tell me which one it is. If you already know you're listening for those things, then I read it to you, you'll see how much easier it is. Okay. The listening example for part C goes, the reason we're meeting today is to introduce the plan for our new office layout. Starting next month, instead of cubicles, we will have an open office. There will be no cubicle walls or partitions. Instead, desks will be arranged in clusters for each department. The desks in each department will be facing each other in clusters of 4 or 6. We feel this will facilitate better communication between workers in each department. It will also create a more welcoming environment for the clients. All right. I think you can answer the question before I even finish reading the excerpt. Can you tell me what it's about? Hey, yes it is. It's about an office renovation. I am not done. You're listening. There's another paragraph, but you can already answer that question. You already know it's a renovation. So if you read the question first and then do your listening. Aduh, kecapean. They're so loud. Guys, shh. It's okay. It's okay. I'm almost done, I promise. All right. If you can read ahead with the questions, you have a better sense of what to listen for. I only read half of that and you already have the answer. Okay? All right, next slide, please. All right. As I said, an office renovation. In the very first sentence, he says to discuss our new office layout. So if you can catch that, you already know where to answer. Okay, next slide, please. All right, those are the 3 parts of the listening. Have you guys got any questions for me on listening? Oh my gosh, very chatty. Yeah, everyone's very, very chatty. I know, it's not exciting. I know, this is
Hello.
I am not excited.
Please
Okay.
listen.
Yeah?
Okay, continue, miss.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to do, if there are no questions for listening, we'll do structure. Okay, guys, the structure in written expression is a very tricky part. It's important to pay attention to the question you're being asked. Are they asking me to complete the sentence? What are they asking me to complete the sentence with? Am I looking for a noun? Am I looking for a verb? Am I looking for an adjective? Should it be singular? Should it be plural? So looking at the different kinds of parts of speech that you would be expected to fill in the question is a good way to approach the structure part, okay? It's also really good, as you read your options, to look at what answers can I absolutely eliminate first. So if you're looking at A, B, C, D, you're going to see options that absolutely you know aren't going to work. Eliminate those first. You can use a process of elimination. Try them in your head. Does this fit? Maybe not. Okay, try B. Does B work? Okay, maybe. C. Does C work? No, that doesn't sound right. So you can use a quick process of elimination to get through the structure questions. Check for verb forms. Is it singular? Is it plural? If it is my option singular or plural? Make sure that those match. Okay? The main thing about the structure questions is you gotta move. You can't stay on one question. It would be great if you could think about it for like 20 minutes, but in reality, you've only got about 30 seconds per question. So you've got to go as quickly as you can to get through them. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. All right, here's an example of a structure question. Blank was backed up for miles on the freeway. Yesterday, in the morning, traffic or cars? A, B, C, D. What do you think? Okay. Next slide, please. Yeah, the correct answer is C. Why is it C? Yesterday was backed up. Kemarin, how can that be backed up? So that one doesn't make any sense in English, so we can't have that. In the morning, the same. We're not looking for a time frame. We're looking for a specific subject. So what was backed up? So traffic and cars. Now, cars could be backed up on a subway, on a freeway, sure. But we know it can't be cars because the next word in the sentence is was. Was we use for singular, not for plural. Cars were backed up on the freeway. That's okay. But it's not cars were, it's was. Because it's was, we have to use a collective noun. We have to use a noun that's already plural. We have to use a noun that's already plural, but is a collective noun, meaning it's the singular form. Traffic is the only one that would fit that. Traffic is collective noun. We can use the singular form of was. So traffic was backed up for miles on the freeway. Okay? Next slide, please. We'll do one more for structure. Jupiter's moons can easily be seen through binoculars or a small telescope. A, either. B, if. C, whether. D, or. What do you think? Yes, very good. A. They can be seen, Jupiter's moons can be seen through either binoculars or a small telescope. Next slide, please. The reason for that is that we use either when we have two parallel options. I like either coffee or tea in the morning. I don't want both. I want either coffee or tea. You can look at Jupiter's moons through either binoculars or a small telescope. So when you have two parallel structures, either or is fine to use. You can't use if or whether. Those are more for a speculative situation. And you can't use or because you wouldn't use or twice in the same sentence. So you can easily eliminate the others to find the right answer. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. All right. The second part of your structure and written test is the written expression. This one is quite tricky. You are meant to find the mistake. There is a grammar mistake in the sentence, and you need to find it. Now, you don't have to know everything about grammar in order to find the mistake. Often, it just doesn't sound quite right. You don't need to know why. You just need to know what part doesn't sound quite right. So, what you need to do is first, read each sentence carefully, focusing on the underlined parts. There will be words underlined. Pay attention. Are those in the correct form? Are they singular? Are they plural? Does it need an, a, the? Are the articles correct? Should it be in present continuous tense? Should it have ing at the end? Should it be in past tense? Okay? You need to look details. The more detailed you can be for this section, the better. But again, you can't spend too long on each question. Okay. Next slide, please. All right. Here's an example at the bottom. On Ellesmere Island in the Arctic, one fossil forest consists of a nearly 100 large stumps scattered on an exposed coal bed. Okay, there is a lot of vocabulary in that sentence that you don't actually need to know the meaning of. You just need to know, does the structure make sense? Where is the mistake? So if you don't know anything about the Arctic or fossil forests, it's okay. I don't know anything about the Arctic and fossil forests, but I do know that part of that sentence is wrong grammatically. Is it consists? Is it nearly? Is it scattered? Or is it exposed? You need to choose A, B, C, or D. Which part of that sentence is wrong? What do you think? Which one? What do you think? Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Okay, the correct answer is B. Nearly and tukur. It should be the other way around. On Ellesmere Island in the Arctic, one fossil forest consists of nearly 100 large stumps scattered on an exposed coal bed. Nearly 100, not nearly 100. So it's a tiny thing. One letter is wrong. But if you can find it, that's what they're looking for. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, let's try another one. They are tricky. This is something that you do see more of with practice, okay? The surface conditions on the planet Mars are the more like the Earth's than are those of any other planet in the solar system. Which one do you think is wrong? Okay, next slide, please. Yes, it is B. They're not using the comparative structure correctly. The surface conditions on the planet Mars are, you don't need the. Not the more like the Earth's. No, the is necessary in a comparative. The surface conditions on the planet Mars are more like the Earth's than are those of any other planet in the solar system. So the shouldn't be there, okay? So often you will find in the structure test, articles are an issue. Is there an A and there should be no A? Is there a the and it should be no the? Or is it missing one? Okay, next slide, please. All right, that's it for the structure, written and structure overview. Are you guys okay with those? Any questions? No, okay. I'm gonna keep going. Reading. All right, for reading. Reading is a tricky one. Please do yourselves a favor. Do not read the passage and answer the questions. Don't do that. Do it the other way. Read the questions first. Read the questions first so you know what to look for in the reading passage. You can do that on the TOEFL ITP. You can read the questions and look at the passage. You can go back and look at it again. It's not the same as other English tests where you can't go back. This one you can. Read the questions first. know what to look for in the reading. All of the answers are in the reading. They're all there. So look at the questions first. What is the topic being discussed? What am I looking out for? Is this about history? Is this about art? What is the subject? Then go back and read to find the answer. There are two types of skills when we do reading tests. You can skim, which means reading quickly for keywords, nouns, verbs. You're getting the gist of the topic. You want to know what it's about, who is delivering it, what is the main point of the passage, and then you want to go back and respond to the topic questions. The questions will be in order. Question 1, the answer is at the beginning of the passage. Question 2, the answer is still near the top. The very last question is going to be answerable in the bottom. It'll be sort of towards the end of the passage. They are in sequence. So you know where you can look to find the answers. So you can skim to find the answers. Scanning is another technique, and that is when you look for specific information. What year? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, year. Okay, see, go back. Run your finger across. Where is the year? Where do they mention year? Find it and then answer the question. So read the question first, look at the passage, skim across, scan across, and find it. Okay? In order to do well on reading tests, you do have to expand your vocabulary. The more expansive your vocabulary is, the easier it will be, because you will know more synonyms, you'll know more words that could have similar meanings. Yeah. But don't worry, if you're worried about the size of your vocabulary, it's okay. If you read the question first and then go to the passage, you should be able to locate the information. Okay, next slide, please. All right, here's an example. I will show you what I mean. That is an example of a reading passage you have, but I say read the question first. Okay? Number 1, the phrase taken to heart in line 1 is closest in meaning to which of the following? Okay, now I know. Before I even start reading, I know I'm looking for these words, taken to heart. Okay, so now I already have something to look for. Now I need to find the context. How is it used? A distinctively American architecture began with Frank Lloyd Wright, who had taken to heart the admonition that form should follow function, and who thought of buildings not as a separate architectural entities, but as parts of an organic whole that included the land, the community, and the society. Okay, whoa, right there. This is about architecture, and he took to heart an idea about how form should follow function. Okay, in that context, can you take a guess? Does taken to heart, does it mean taken seriously, criticized, memorized, or taken offense? Any guesses? Okay, next slide, please. All right, the phrase taken to heart is closest to taken seriously. When we take something to heart, we think it's very important. If it's very important, it's very serious. This architect's philosophy is based around that idea. Next slide, please. All right, same reading excerpt. This time we try again. Which of the following statements best reflects one of Frank Lloyd Wright's architectural principles? Now, since we just read that sentence about taken to heart that principle, we know where the answer is to this question too. We can go right back to the same point in the reading. Okay? Where do you say up at the top? who had taken to heart the admonition that form should follow function, and who thought of buildings not as a separate architectural entities, but as parts of an organic whole that included the land, the community, and the society. Okay, so land, community, society, they all fit together in his principle. Which one do you think fits? A, beautiful design is more important than utility. B, ecclesiastical structures should be derived from traditional designs. C, a building should fit into its surroundings. Or D, the architecture of the public building does not need to be revolutionary. What do we know based on the sentences we just read? What do you think fits? Yes, C, very good. I don't know who said C. Very good. Yep. Next slide, please. Thank you. Yes, C, it should fit into its surroundings. Okay? And again, that was question 2. The answer to question 2 was right there in the first couple sentences of the passage. Okay? Knowing where to look is an easy way to try and find the information you need. Now, I could go through each one and explain why they don't work. For example, ecclesiastical architecture, that is in the reading, but it's tricky. It actually says the opposite. So they like to put in the opposite meaning. Don't just go for the one that you recognize. Sometimes they say the opposite. So be careful when you're reading the questions. Okay? And next slide, please. Okay. All right, those are the 3 sections for your TOEFL ITP. All right? So you don't have any productive skills sections on this test. This test is not the IBT. It's not the computer-based test. This is not a test that you can use outside of the country. This is just for local positions in local scholarships or local working environments, okay? If you wanted to study abroad, you need a different English proficiency test, which we can talk about later. But in general, to prepare for your TOEFL ITP, firstly, my advice to you would be don't panic. Do not panic. When we panic, we tend to misread questions easier. We make more mistakes when we panic. So try not to panic. Get a good night's sleep, okay, before test day. I know some of you have it next week. I know that's nerve-wracking. Okay? Between now and your test day, go online. You can find lots of resources for TOEFL ITP or TOEFL paper-based test. You can find those resources online. There are YouTube videos where you can practice the listening, just like I showed you. You can find practice readings, and you can find practice written structure and written expression. In general, before an English test, the best thing to do is to use English. Practice. Go online in English. Go on social media in English. Read articles in English. Look at YouTube videos in English. One caveat, be careful with auto-generated subtitles on YouTube. They are not always great, so be careful with those. Listen to music in English. Listen to podcasts in English. Podcasts are a great way to practice your listening. There are lots of interesting podcasts out there, whatever you're interested into. Arts, science, history, philosophy. The subject does not matter. Practice is what matters, okay? So between now and next week or the end of the month, whenever you have your test, practicing, using English a little bit each day is the best way to go about it. Practice with your friends. Have competitions. See how many of you can get the most questions right on a YouTube video, okay? Try and make it fun. And do the best you can, yeah? So thank you very much. I wish you all the very best of luck. And if you do have questions, I think we'll do questions at the end, right? Yeah, okay. There'll be a question and answer session a bit later. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Give applause, a big applause for Miss Tiana. Okay, Miss, please take a rest for a while. Well, we have another speaker to perform here. Yeah, please enjoy your meal. Okay, guys. Nanti kita ada sesi tanya jawab Q&A session after Mr. Dava. Ya. Jadi nanti digabung Q&A-nya. Sebelum Q&A di sini ada saya kedatangan seorang tamu, seorang mahasiswa juga dari BSI. Namanya Dava Praditya Devano. Ya, dari jurusan Bahasa Inggris, Sastra Inggris. Jika teman-teman pernah menonton film-film Marvel, DC, subtitlenya itu banyak diterjemahkan oleh Mr. Dava. Ini dia orangnya. Dan sebelum Mr. Dava memberikan sharing pengalamannya selama Dava berkuliah di BSI, di sini saya merangkum beberapa kegiatan Dava, diantaranya di BSI sebagai delegasi muda Indonesia di Stockholm. Kemudian penerima beasiswa YSLI di bidang lingkungan 2022 Departemen Luar Negeri Amerika Serikat. Kemudian dari pengalamannya juga di Universitas Gajah Mada sebagai program pertukaran pelajar. Nah, pengalamannya di Bangkok, Thailand, ya, di UNICEF Asia Timur dan Pasifik. Dan masih banyak lagi, ini saya nggak bacain satu-satu ya, lama nanti. Oke, so please welcome Dava Praditya Devano.
Okay, hello everyone. Once again, hello everyone. Okay, but before we start the sessions, I would like to ask you, would you like me to speak full in English or mix with Bahasa Indonesia? Okay. Okay. Okay, for the introduction part, I would love to introduce myself in English. So, my name is Dava Praditya. I know you are the final semester atau mahasiswa tingkat akhir di sini semuanya. Dan di sini aku masih di di semester 6. Jadi 1 tahun di bawah teman-teman semua di sini. Jadi masih butuh banyak bimbingan juga dari cutting-cutting di sini gitu. Untuk nanti nyusun skripsi dan lain-lain. Dan aku dari BSI Cengkareng. I'm from BSI Cengkareng. Yeah, I noticed some of my cutting there. Salah satunya ada Karomel yang aku kenal. Dan di sini mungkin aku I just want to share my experience tentang gimana pentingnya kita itu punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris. Karena walaupun aku belum pernah tes TOEFL yang like the real TOEFL, just the prediction test, tapi pernah juga dapat sertifikasi dari Kemendikbud yang dimana itu juga bisa berpengaruh kayak gitu untuk apply scholarship. Dan salah satu scholarship yang aku dapat kemarin itu adalah dari Departemen Luar Negeri Amerika atau US Department of States. Jadi di sana aku belajar di salah satu university di Vietnam dan belajar tentang lingkungan khususnya. Tapi dalam mengapply beasiswa itu aku diminta untuk menyertakan tes bahasa Inggris, apapun itu bentuknya, mau prediction, TOEFL, IELTS, atau apapun itu bentuk EPT-nya. Jadi di sini aku pengen share pengalaman kenapa kita harus punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris dan apa sih manfaatnya, what are the benefits that we will got if we have English certification. Nah, pertama, mungkin aku bakal share tentang kenapa TOEFL atau IELTS atau apapun itu IPT-nya itu penting buat kita. Sekarang ini kita nih anak muda kan, kita Gen Z, kita punya banyak banget kesempatan, opportunity yang kita bisa apply lewat online. Contohnya mungkin kalau misalkan teman-teman tahu ada program ISMA, International Indonesia Mobility Students dari Kemendikbud, salah satu bagian dari program kampus mereka, dan juga ada program Wisely atau Young Southeast Asia Leadership, kalau nggak salah itu singkatannya, dan itu terbuka untuk seluruh pemuda, anak muda Indonesia dan ASEAN pada umumnya. Jadi menurutku ketika kita punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris, satu hal yang penting adalah kita bisa membuktikan bahwa kita tuh certified dalam berbahasa Inggris. Dan bukan hanya itu, ketika teman-teman punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris, when we have the certification, kita juga bisa apply ke universitas ataupun bahkan top companies yang dari luar. Contohnya kalau mungkin teman-teman tahu, ada misalkan Unilever, ada misalkan Danone, ataupun ada Deloitte untuk consulting firm. Nah, itu tuh salah satu perusahaan yang bisa dibilang interviewnya itu pakai bahasa Inggris, kayak gitu. Dan juga akan lebih bagus ketika kita apply pekerjaan itu dengan sertifikasi bahasa Inggris yang kita punya. Jadi kita punya bentuk proofment atau bukti bahwa kita tuh bisa bahasa Inggris kayak gitu. Dan itu nanti juga akan dites lagi ketika nanti diinterview oleh si usernya atau recruiternya. Nah, mungkin teman-teman di sini kan udah semester akhir, tingkat akhir, dan fokusnya itu adalah skripsi, setelah itu nyari kerja mungkin, ataupun mau ada yang lanjut S2 lagi. Tapi aku mau tanya sebelumnya, di sini yang habis lulus S1 ataupun D3 di sini, yang setelah itu mau lanjut misalkan mau S2 ataupun S3, ada nggak yang mau lanjut sekolah lagi? Atau mau kerja semua? Oke, mau kerja semua. Nah, berarti di sini konteksnya adalah kita tahu bahwa sekarang lapangan pekerjaan itu tuh susah banget karena saingan kita banyak dari kampus-kampus lain. Contohnya kampus-kampus top kayak UI, UGM, ITB, yang dimana mereka tuh punya kualifikasi yang cukup tinggi kayak gitu lulusannya. Dan juga banyak diterima di top companies di Indonesia, top tier companies yang di Indonesia. Nah, tapi ketika kita punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris, itu merupakan suatu kelebihan yang mungkin aja mereka nggak punya. Karena aku juga punya beberapa teman di kampus-kampus top itu yang mereka secara kualitas bahasa Inggrisnya itu mungkin kalau di-compare dengan yang udah punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris itu tuh jauh gitu. Walaupun mereka kuliah di top universities Indonesia. Nah, makanya itu salah satu hal penting yang perlu kita note di sini adalah bahasa Inggris itu bukan cuman sebagai ajang keren-kerenan. Kayak, gue bisa nih ngomong bahasa Inggris, gue bisa ngomong sama bule, gue percaya diri sama ngomong sama bule. Bukan itu, tapi juga sebagai ajang di mana kita itu compete with each other. Karena Indonesia saat ini dengan lebih dari 270 juta penduduknya, yang di mana 55% itu anak muda, itu punya kesempatan yang besar banget buat compete di luar negeri. Karena banyak banget sekarang negara-negara yang lagi butuh pekerja. Contoh ada di Jerman, di Jepang. Nah, itu cuma baru 2 contoh negara yang butuh pekerja dari luar. Karena aku yakin banget di sini dari berbagai jurusan ada manajemen ataupun sastra Inggris, yang di mana skill yang kita punya, kompetensi yang kita punya, itu tuh bisa ngangkat kita untuk bisa bekerja di luar negeri, kayak gitu. Kenapa sih kerjanya harus di luar negeri, kan bisa di Indonesia? Nah, ini merupakan salah satu pertanyaan yang mungkin agak tricky, tapi juga challenging. Kenapa challenging? Karena ternyata, turns out, ketika aku tanya teman-temanku yang udah lulus S1, kenapa mereka lebih mereka prefer untuk kerja di Indonesia dibandingkan di luar negeri adalah mereka takut untuk ngomong bahasa Inggris, kayak gitu. Dan juga mereka takut kalau mereka nggak bisa survive di sana. Tapi the most important things adalah ketika kita keluar negeri, itu tuh kita bakal adaptasi. However, dengan makanannya, dengan weathernya, dengan cuacanya, dan lain-lain, itu kita bakal adaptasi. Tapi the most importantly adalah ketika kita nggak berani ngomong bahasa Inggris, itu yang akan jadi masalah, kayak gitu. Jadi menurutku ketika kita punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris, itu tuh membuka banyak banget kesempatan. Like discovering all the things that we want to do. Mungkin teman-teman di sini ada yang cita-citanya jadi manager atau director atau apapun itu. Misalkan top tier-nya leading company kayak gitu di Indonesia. Nah, teman-teman bisa unlock itu dengan pertama kali adalah modelnya dengan sertifikasi bahasa Inggris. Either nanti ambil teman-teman TOEFL ITP atau TOEFL IBT ataupun IELTS, atau sekarang ada yang namanya Duolingo English Test, which is quite affordable secara harga. Kalau IELTS itu kan sekitar 3 juta, TOEFL IBT itu mungkin sekitar ya 3 juta 2 jutaan, tapi Duolingo just 1 million below, like 920-30 ribuan. Dan itu tuh udah diterima di beberapa kampus dan juga diterima di beberapa perusahaan gitu. Jadi ketika kita membicarakan tentang sertifikasi bahasa Inggris, kayak ngapain gitu punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris, lagian juga kita nggak pakai, misalkan kita nggak bakal butuh-butuh banget gitu di company. Tapi nyatanya buat teman-temanku yang udah kerja sekarang, yang baru lulusan tahun kemarin, 2 tahun yang terakhir ini, mereka turns out menemukan bahwa kemampuan bahasa Inggris itu adalah salah satu skill yang sangat penting. Karena bagaimanapun di perusahaan pasti ada klien dari luar negeri. Entah itu dari negara yang native speaker kayak dari US, UK, Europe, ataupun dari Jepang, Asia kayak gitu. Kayak Jepang ataupun Korea ataupun negara-negara Asia lainnya. Jadi bahasa Inggris itu sebagai jembatan. When we connect to the world, we could discover a lot of opportunities ahead that we want to do, we want to gain, we want to achieve. Nah, jadi teman-teman mungkin ada yang masih berpikiran kayak ngapain ya ngambil tes TOEFL? Kayak manfaatnya itu apa sih? Sebenarnya banyak, karena kita tinggal di dunia yang semua serba digital, kita tinggal di dunia yang semua tuh serba gampang, dan kalau misalkan kita pengen sesuatu, kita tuh bisa dapetin itu. Tapi tentu dengan beberapa persyaratan, salah satunya adalah bahasa Inggris gitu. Bahkan mungkin not only for those of you yang pengen lanjut ke kampus di luar negeri atau lanjut S2. Bahkan yang company yang di Indonesia aja itu sekarang udah banyak banget yang mensyaratin TOEFL ataupun sertifikasi bahasa Inggris lainnya. Jadi ini merupakan bukan lagi pilihan, bukan lagi option, tapi jadi mandatory. Jadi kewajiban untuk kita untuk bisa punya sertifikasi bahasa Inggris dan bisa berbahasa Inggris, dan itu wajib kayak gitu. Karena kita tahu era globalisasi, orang-orang asing bisa masuk ke sini tanpa batasan. Kita bisa connect ke dunia luar. Dan bahkan yang untungnya adalah kita bisa kerja remote dari luar di Indonesia gitu. Jadi kita di Indonesia tapi kerja di luar, entah di Singapura, di US. Dan itu rata-rata salah satu persyaratannya adalah kita tuh punya sertifikasi yang menunjukkan bahwa kita tuh bisa bahasa Inggris. Kayak gitu. Nah, karena mungkin aku bakal sedikit cerita. I want to share a bit of my experience tentang bagaimana ketika aku bertemu native speaker, entah itu dari UK atau US, they seeing us itu sebagai salah satu valuable generations. Jadi orang Indonesia itu di mata mereka mempunyai banyak sekali potensi yang bisa dikeluarkan. Tapi sayangnya, compared to other neighboring countries kayak Malaysia ataupun Philippines, kita tuh paling gugup, paling takut ketika kita dihadapin sama native speaker. Jadi ketika kita depan native speaker kayak we know the material, kita tahu teorinya, kita tahu segala macam latihan yang udah kita lakuin. Tapi ketika kita dihadapi oleh native speaker, kita jadi tiba-tiba lupa apa yang kita pelajari. Nah, jadi karena tadi kan sudah dijelasin ya, a bit about TOEFL ITP, yang dimana itu just consists of reading and listening. Nah, kan ada 2 lagi yang belum tuh, ada reading sama writing. Nah, speaking sama writing. Nah, jadi ketika kita bisa listening, kita bisa punya kemampuan reading yang baik, tapi kita juga kurang satu kemampuan yang sangat-sangat diperlukan di dunia pekerjaan, yaitu speaking. Dan speaking ini adalah salah satu mungkin hal yang paling sulit. Even for me, I have taking an EPT test just yesterday. Jadi kemarin aku ngambil tes bahasa Inggris, Duolingo English Test, dan speaking itu the most nervousness part yang pernah aku alami. Karena apa? Aku udah latihan, aku udah practice with my friends, dan juga lewat online kayak gitu. Tapi tetap ketika speaking aku tiba-tiba lupa apa ya yang pengen diomongin kayak gitu. Karena pertama ada limitation waktu yang dibatasin, dan juga ketika karena aku ngambil di aku tesnya online di laptop, jadi di situ ada kamera dan kamera itu nyorot ke aku. Nah, itulah yang membuat aku nervous. Tapi itu juga jadi salah satu aku sarana latihan untuk bisa lebih confident in speaking English kayak gitu. Kenapa? Karena ketika kita ngomong sama native speaker, they will not judge us. Mereka apapun kesalahan grammarnya, they don't care. Mereka cuman peduli dengan konteks atau pesan yang ingin kita bawakan. Jadi walaupun grammarnya salah in speaking walaupun grammarnya salah, tapi it's okay, no problem, as long as they understand what we want to convey, what kind of message that we want try to convey. Itu it's okay, nggak apa-apa. Tapi untuk listening, reading atau writing itu of course harus benar, khususnya untuk writing. Tapi untuk speaking, yang dimana ini merupakan salah satu skill yang kurang lebihnya agak sulit untuk dikuasai. Justru mereka mengerti bahwa kita itu non-native speaker. Kita itu bukan pembicara bahasa Inggris gitu. English is not our first language kayak gitu. Karena ya mungkin kita bahasa pertama itu bahasa Indonesia, misalkan terus ada bahasa daerah gitu. Jadi English mungkin bahasa ketiga atau bahasa keempatnya kayak gitu. Jadi mereka totally understandable, like understanding what kind of challenge that we have ketika kita speaking. Dan untuk teman-teman mungkin yang sini udah ada yang magang mungkin ataupun pernah ikut organisasi, I really suggest even after you graduate, walaupun udah lulus, coba ikut volunteer ataupun organisasi yang gak makan waktu of course, yang kayak bisa fleksibel, yang dimana itu tuh international organization. Jadi walaupun mungkin kalian udah punya sertifikasi TOEFL nantinya, tapi kan ketika kalian setelah kalian tes dan misalkan lulus di perusahaan impian teman-teman, itu tetap kan harus dilatih bahasa Inggrisnya. Dan itu bisa lewat organisasi ataupun komunitas yang ada di internet of course. Like there are a lot of organization or communities on Instagram especially I found, itu yang benar-benar helpful banget. Dan kalian bisa juga coba ketik di browser kalian, itu ada yang namanya website Free for Talk, FREE for 4 Talk, TALK. Jadi itu merupakan sebuah website di mana teman-teman itu bisa berlatih dengan orang lain secara langsung. Nah, jadi kalau teman-teman di website itu Free for Talk, itu teman-teman bisa langsung ketemu orang-orang yang juga sama-sama belajar bahasa Inggris. Bisa dari US, UK atau Russia atau even the Middle East kayak orang-orang Arab. Itu juga mereka banyak yang juga berlatih bahasa Inggris kayak gitu. Jadi teman-teman di sini menurutku adalah jangan pernah menganggap sesuatu hal itu kecil ataupun remeh, karena bisa jadi hal yang kita anggap kecil itu bisa sangat-sangat bermakna buat kita kayak gitu. Jadi mungkin teman-teman kayak bahasa Inggris mah cuma buat keren-kerenan, bahasa Inggris mah cuma buat buktiin kalau kita tuh lebih satu level di atas mereka gitu. Padahal bahasa Inggris itu bukan menunjukkan status kepintaran. Kayak orang yang bisa bahasa Inggris pun belum tentu dia pintar, belum tentu dia bisa memahami konteks dengan jelas kayak gitu. Jadi bahasa Inggris itu bukannya kayak kita yang bisa bahasa Indonesia kita level 1, terus yang bisa bahasa Inggris level 2. Bukan. Mau yang bisa bahasa Inggris ataupun yang enggak, itu kita sama-sama di level yang sama, level 1. Tergantung apa konteks yang kita pahami, kayak gitu. Jadi walaupun teman-teman udah bahasa Inggris, keep low key, tetap merendah, tetap humble sama orang. Kayak if they don't really understand English, try to make it mix, like using bahasa Indonesia dan bahasa Inggris, kayak gitu. Jadi bahasa Inggris itu bukan parameter kecerdasan kita. It's just a language, it's just a thing that we use that in daily life, kayak gitu. Jadi bahasa Inggris itu bukan sesuatu yang keren, kayak semua orang bisa bahasa Inggris sekarang. Kecuali kalau teman-teman bisa nguasain bahasa Mandarin, bahasa Jerman, itu beda lagi. Tapi kalau bahasa Inggris itu tuh udah common language gitu di dunia ini ya, di universe. Even di luar angkasa aja itu pakainya bahasa Inggris. Official language itu pakai bahasa Inggris kayak gitu. Jadi bahasa Inggris itu bukan hal yang keren, bahasa Inggris itu bukan hal yang prestigious ataupun eksklusif. Bahasa Inggris itu cuma just a language, tapi dengan kita bisa bahasa Inggris, kita bisa unlock a lot of new opportunities yang kita mau. Jadi buat teman-teman, buat yang mau ngambil tes TOEFL ITP sebentar lagi, good luck buat tesnya. Dan juga saranku adalah perbanyak latihan, tapi latihan itu hanya khususnya ya, ketika teman-teman misalkan nggak terlalu advance, misalkan di listening, berarti teman-teman harus perbanyak latihan di situ, bukan di readingnya. Karena aku dalam bahasa Inggris itu mempunyai top priorities. Jadi misalkan aku nggak bisa listening, aku bakal terus latihan listening sampai aku kayak bisa mengerti gitu, paham walaupun speakernya ngomong cepat. Dan baru ke subbab yang lainnya kayak misalkan reading, writing ataupun speaking. Kayak gitu menurut aku. Thank you so much.
Oke. Ini kalau nggak di limit by time, Mr. Dava bisa sampai sore, bisa sampai maghrib ngomongnya. Mr. Dava, selama kuliah di BSI sudah berapa negara? 5.
Iya, 5 kayaknya. Iya.
Selama kuliah di BSI udah ke 5 negara di luar ya, sebagai delegasi pembicara. Oke, now it's time for us to Q&A session. Tanya jawab. Silakan teman-teman yang punya pertanyaan kepada Miss Tiana atau Mr. Dava. Silakan. Ada nggak? Tunjuk tangan, nama dari kampus mana. Tadi sudah mendengarkan kan pemaparan dari Miss Tiana pakai bahasa Inggris full, delivered by native. Kapan lagi bisa ketemu orang bule di BSI diajarin TOEFL? Yuk, ada nggak? Nggak ada? Nggak ada pertanyaan? Question? No? Ya. Yeah.
Tes. Saya pengen nanya ke mas-mas yang itu. Oh, diri. Oke, perkenalkan nama saya Rama Alvin Bahaki dari kampus BSI Margonda. Saya ingin bertanya kepada Mas Dava. Nah, dari awal belajar bahasa Inggris sampai sekarang, kira-kira boleh gak di-spill website atau platform apa aja yang Mas pakai? Udah? Iya.
Give applause. Jadi pertanyaannya kepada Mr. Dava, sumber atau referensi apa saja yang dipakai? Silakan Mr. Dava.
Oke. Sebenarnya I've been learning English since I was in elementary school, dari SD. Tapi baru intens belajar itu dari tahun 2020. Jadi pas pandemi COVID kan gabut tuh kan di rumah terus online gitu. Jadi kayak daripada gabut mendingan belajar bahasa Inggris kayak gitu kan, biar lebih diperdalam lagi gitu, di advance lagi. Nah, selama belajar bahasa Inggris berarti udah sekitar almost 4 years sampai sekarang. Berarti tapi salah satu website yang paling sangat-sangat helpful adalah IELTS online practice. Karena memang kan ada dua tipe tes, ada IELTS dan juga TOEFL. TOEFL itu lebih ke American accent dan IELTS itu lebih ke British accent. Karena aku suka British accent, kayak suka film Harry Potter juga. Jadi aku milih IELTS test kayak gitu. Dan IELTS online practice itu sangat-sangat helpful, dan juga sebenarnya ada aplikasinya, ada aplikasi British Council. Itu British Council IELTS itu bisa di-download di Play Store. Aku nggak tahu kalau di App Store ada atau enggak, tapi kayaknya ada. Dan itu benar-benar membantu banget karena ada each section partnya dari reading, writing, listening, kalau speaking kurang tahu ya. Cuman kayaknya ada, tapi mungkin nggak terlalu interaktif, kayak nggak 2 orang, cuman kita jawab pertanyaan aja kayak gitu. Itu yang sangat-sangat helpful. Selain itu juga Duolingo. Duolingo kalau misalnya teman-teman tahu itu dari yang beginner banget tuh bisa banget kayak gitu. Karena adikku itu aku suruh belajar lewat Duolingo kayak gitu. Kayak kamu belajar Duolingo English test ya, belajar lewat Duolingo ya buat bahasa Inggrisnya kayak gitu. Jadi Duolingo buat beginner itu sangat-sangat recommended kayak gitu. Tapi untuk yang udah intermediate, udah tengah-tengah level, mungkin bisa coba IELTS online ataupun British Council IELTS kayak gitu. Ataupun yang TOEFL-nya aku kurang tahu, cuman aku lebih taunya IELTS kayak gitu.
Oke. Gimana? Cukup ya, ada 2 IELTS practice online sama British Council IELTS. Ya, itu sumbernya. IELTS lebih sulit daripada TOEFL ya, Dava?
Sebenarnya beda ke aksen aja sih. Kalau nggak terbiasa aksen British bakal susah, cuman bakal bisa selama kita belajar terus.
Oke. So the difference between the accent ya, cuma aksennya aja yang berbeda. Kalau tingkat kesulitannya mirip-mirip lah gitu ya. Oke.
Tapi important to note, jadi kalau misalkan ini tipe saran aku aja. Jadi karena aku emang suka British accent, aku milihnya IELTS. Tapi kalau teman-teman ngerasa lebih gampang TOEFL kayak American accent, kalian bisa ngambil TOEFL kayak gitu instead of IELTS. Karena aku milihnya karena aku suka aja gitu. Aku suka British accent, jadi aku ngambil IELTS. Tapi kalau misalkan teman-teman lebih comfortable dengan TOEFL dan American accent, of course, kalian bisa ambil TOEFL instead of IELTS. Karena lumayan sama lah, beda aksen aja.
Oke, beda aksennya ya. Jadi kalau IELTS itu lebih ke British itu. Ya. Oke, jelas? Oke. Jadi nanti teman-teman yang mungkin nanti sebentar lagi mau ujian sidang, wisuda, kemudian lulus, lamar kerja di luar negeri, nah ini kuncinya TOEFL atau IELTS. Ya, itu. Oke, ada lagi pertanyaan? Ya, belakang. Miss Yanti, bisa dibantu nggak?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, Miss Tiana and Mr. Dava. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tiani. I'm from management, major in management, concentrate in finance. I'm from UPSI Margonda. Before I ask, I'm sorry if my English doesn't very well because I'm still learning. So the question what I ask is for the TOEFL questions. I often see the words that find I thought that I can find that means word, but it can be different meanings depend on the sentence, and then how can I know the sentence depend on the how can I know that the really meanings depend on the sentence? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your question, and your English was great. Thank you. It was very good. Okay, the question was, how do you know if some words or phrases have different meanings in different sentences, different contexts? How to know which one is the right one? That's correct? Yeah. How to know how to answer the question? That's very difficult. Anyway, because we do have a lot of vocabulary words in English that have different meanings, multiple meanings. One thing to consider is you have to read the question very carefully to understand the context. Is this something where the word is being used secara harfiah? Or is this a context where it's idiomatic? And if it's idiomatic, it means that it's not quite how it appears in the sentence. Something feels strange. For example, in my example, I had taken to heart. Do you remember we had that example? He had taken to heart the architecture principles. He didn't, ini bukan secara harfiah taken to heart, he didn't bring it to his chest. It just meant that he took it seriously. Becoming familiar with some of our English idioms will help you to know when is it used in one context and when is it used in another. But it can be very tricky. The easiest way to learn idioms in English, to learn turns of phrase, is to watch films and listen to music. So don't focus your practice in English for the next few days before your exam. Don't focus just on academic pieces. Listen to songs you like from English-speaking bands and English-speaking solo artists. Watch films, because we use these phrases a lot in English where there are many different meanings and many different contexts. If you watch a film in English with subtitles on, subtitles in English, yeah, make sure your subtitles are set to English. You can read along the dialogue and understand the different contexts that we use certain phrases. Reading online blogs and online articles as well is very helpful for finding English idioms. It is something that you do sort of have to build over time, but it is something that if you read the question in context, you should know, does it feel like this is being secara harfi, is this being literal or is this being idiomatic? Is this a different meaning for this phrase? It'll feel a little out of place, and that's how you'll know this must be an idiomatic context. Does that make sense?
Enough?
I hope that semoga bermanfaat, maaf ya.
Okay, yeah. That's the explanation from Miss Tiana. Do you have clearly? Enough. Yeah. So, the context, yang lihat konteksnya tadi seperti dicontohkan Miss Tiana adalah taken heart gitu, taken heart. Jadi bukan berarti mengambil hati, jadi taken seriously tadi itu, ya. Jadi teman-teman di sini harus banyak lagi membaca, terutama idioms, artikel-artikel science, karena di TOEFL kita akan menemukan passage atau artikel yang bertemakan science, gitu ya, ilmu-ilmu pengetahuan. Beda dengan TOEIC. Kalau TOEIC itu lebih ke bisnis, yang diomongin seputar marketing, selling gitu ya, beda. Ya, question, ada lagi pertanyaan teman-teman? Enak banget dengerin Miss Tiana ngomong, udah kayak makan seblak dingin-dingin. Ya, ada lagi? Nggak ada? Kalau nggak ada, sesi ulang. Ntar dulu, nanti kan ada info tanggal 12 dan 13, kemudian beberapa jurusan yang ikut dengan Real English. Nanti saya tampilkan slide. Sudah, tidak ada pertanyaan, teman-teman? No. Paham nih? Paham nih? Alhamdulillah paham. Insya Allah nanti skornya bisa di atas 400. Amin. Miss Tiana, we have a placard, yeah, a souvenir for Miss Tiana and team. Diambil.
So there is no any question for you? From you, I mean. That's any questions? Clear enough for the whole explanation from Miss Tiana. Is it enough? If there is enough, it means that I need 400 from your score, okay? On 12 and 13 February in Lembaga Bahasa, and for Really English on last of February. The schedule will be updated on your Telegram's account. Get it? Mr. Ari will explain to all of you about the schedule in front of
teman-teman
ours.
Masih ada pertanyaan di Telegram, di WhatsApp. Ini jurusan yang diberikan warna kuning, yellow ya. Untuk administrasi perkantoran, administrasi bisnis, perhotelan, hubungan masyarakat atau PR, dan terakhir ilmu komunikasi, ikut dengan Real English ya, ikut dengan Really English. Jadi nanti tesnya ikut dengan Really English. Tadi saya dapat info tesnya itu akhir Februari, namun belum ada tanggal pasti, ya. Oke. Jurusan yang kalian lihat di depan berwarna kuning ikut dengan really English. Oke. Nah, sementara yang BSI ikut dengan lembaga bahasa BSI
On 12 and 13 February.
ya, sebentar.
Sekarang. How about schedule? First and second until
Tanggal
last session.
12 Pak Kresna belum muncul. Nah, ini ya. Itu salah tanggalnya 12 13. Salah ya, itu tanggalnya salah. Harusnya tanggal 12 13. Ya, 12 dan 13. Teman-teman, perhatikan di My Best ya. Di My Best itu kelasnya kelas apa? Ya. Dicek lagi di My Best kelasnya ikut kelas apa? Karena nanti dibagi beberapa sesi. Kelas A, kelas B, dan kelas C itu berbeda jadwalnya. Ya, sekali lagi berbeda jadwalnya. Untuk sesi listening kita akan menggunakan Zoom dan My Best. Jadi audionya didengarkan di Zoom dan kalian menjawab pilihan ganda di My Best. Oke? Oke ya, paham? Ada pertanyaan sampai sini mengenai tes nanti tanggal 12 dan 13? Enggak ada, berarti sudah paham. Silakan dicatat, difoto, dan diingat ya waktunya. Karena tidak ada toleransi waktu untuk pindah jadwal atau pindah sesi. Ya, semua sudah by system di My Best. Baik, selanjutnya yaitu sesi pemberian placard kepada Miss Tiana and Mr. Agus. Would you like to come here?
Miss Tiana, we would like to give you souvenirs and a certificate for today. It's better we are standing here in the middle of them. This is a little gift from us.
Kasih apa ini ya? Mister Ari apa? Oh gitu aja.
Saya yang foto aja. Nanti ini itu okay, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay, again. Alright, ya. Ya, sebelum kita akhiri, teman-teman silakan berdiri semua dan kita akan melakukan foto sesi bersama Miss Tiana. You can hold this souvenir, Miss, and please take a picture with us. Yeah.
We do our
Okay.
documentation for a while. Okay, everyone, could you help me to stand up from
Masih
your
ingat yang
chair?
BSI? BSI! Oi!
Kuliah. Slogan BSI hafal ya mereka ya? Slogan BSI tahu kan slogan BSI apa? Kuliah. Good. Okay. Is it clear, Mr. Ari? Okay.
Nggak usah. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Again. 3, 2, 1. Video ya. Video.
Oke, sekarang video ya. When I mention kuliah, you answer louder together. Oke? Di video direkam oleh Miss Ari. Oke, bersama-sama. Hitung, Mister.
Ya, 3, 2, 1.
Kuliah. Oke, Miss Tiana, thank you so much. You can go back to your chair.
Thank you for. Udah. Hah? Udah, ya udah. Oke, so we end this session ya. We end this event. Oke. This is the end of our session. Teman-teman, jangan lupa tanggal 12 dan 13 adalah TOEFL test. Ya. Dan saya akhiri, semoga hasil TOEFL skornya nanti mencapai nilai minimum. Ya, amin.
Amin.
Oke.
Berapa
Akhir kata,
skornya, Miss Ari? Skornya berapa?
minimal 400.
Untuk
Semua jurusan kecuali sastra Inggris.
sastra Inggris berapa? 500.
500. Oke.
Semangat, semuanya pasti bisa insya Allah.
Ya. Oke, saya akhiri. Saya Lembaga Bahasa Adi Iswanto Wibowo dan
Miss Yanti Rosalina. Wanna
sebagai
say thank
ketua,
you so much.
thank you for you all as
Have
attending
attending.
today.
Mhm.
Dan kita ketemu lagi di lain waktu. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye bye everyone. Take care ya. Hati-hati di jalan. Selamat semuanya.